Today, we're going to continue the topic of changes made to missions in GTA San Andreas between the original version and the beta version. This time, however, we won't focus on the smaller changes. Instead, we'll take a closer look at 7 missions where entire concepts were scrapped. In short, missions where the changes were seriously major. And just like last time, I've prepared the visualization, so we'll be able to go through all of these things, not just in text form, but most importantly, visually. Let's get into it. First up, the mission, wrong side of the tracks. Before we go into the main cut section of the mission, it's definitely worth mentioning a few smaller cut parts. First off, there was a whole additional, pretty intriguing dialogue with Big Smoke that was meant to play on the way to Unity Station. I'll leave the interpretation of that one up to you. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.
You know the parable of the wise sheep call?
Nah, I don't think I do.
Well, you should pay attention to what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
The wise sheep does what he says and only eats the greenest grass, while the foolish sheep gets eaten alive by eels.
What are you talking about?
I'm thinking of going into the ministry later in life. Just testing some shit out.
Whatever.
Then there was also extra dialogues planned for the start of the train chase, where if you were fat as CJ, the characters would start cussing each other out.
This thing wasn't built to take so much weight.
You're the one packing on the pound, CJ.
They don't call you Big Smoke for nothing.
Shit, I was born big, fool. You, on the other hand, have a dietary problem.
Now we get to the actual chase part of the mission. It seems that at some point, an obstacle was supposed to appear on your path, and you would have to jump over it to continue. On top of that, your objective wasn't just to kill the Vagos. You also had to grab a package and some cash from them. Some lines of dialogue and instructions found in the GXT file even suggest that at least one of the Vagos was supposed to jump off the train and try to escape on foot, meaning the mission would probably continue something like this.
Damn, that's what we wanted.
Man, look at all that cash.
Shut up! Help yourself, CJ! Help yourself, baby!
And now, the most interesting part. Another suspicious conversation with Smoke, where CJ genuinely starts sounding very suspicious of his buddy, while Smoke, once again, plays dumb, trying to act like, "Come on, CJ, what are you talking about? Everything's fine."
Why Tenpenny want that package?
Who, Penny?
Don't bullshit me, Smoke.
Carl, man, there's something about you, man. Some kind of strange kind of aura, man.
Smoke, when you gonna stop with this weird bullshit?
The truth is, Carl, we've been lost while you've been gone, but now we saved again.
What's in the package, Smoke?
The problem is, too many of the chosen ones get killed before they time, man.
If the afterlife means peace from your bullshit, I think I'm ready. What's in the damn package, Smoke? No more bullshit.
I don't know, homie. I'm just trying to help these officers keep shit off the streets, man.
I don't trust him.
Sometimes trust ain't an option, homie.
Alright, let's move on to the next mission, which is called Catalyst, the one where your goal is to steal a load from a train passing through Los Santos. First off, we were originally meant to use a truck for this mission, not Ryder's car like in the final version. That actually makes sense, considering we used vans in both the first and the last mission for Ryder as well. Interestingly enough, in the final version, the in-game text says, "Get in Ryder's truck, not car," which is a leftover from the original concept we're talking about now. This doesn't stand out too much, since Ryder's car does have a truck bed, and the term pickup truck, or even just truck, can apply to a car with a flatbed, especially in the United States. However, in other missions, the game clearly refers to Ryder's vehicle as a car, so there's no doubt that the word choice in the Catalyst mission is a leftover from the beta version. It's not surprising that they eventually changed it to Ryder's car, because the later part of the mission, where you're tossing crates, wouldn't have worked otherwise. After all, Ryder would have had to drive in reverse behind a speeding train just to catch the boxes CJ throws. That would have been not only super difficult to implement, but also probably looked ridiculous. Another cool little detail explains the presence of the random guy who just suddenly appears in Ryder's car in the second part of the mission. Originally, Ryder was supposed to recruit him before the crate tossing section began.
Hey, you down for Grove, homie?
Hell, you my dog, man.
Go check out the train, CJ.
Now, as for that crate tossing segment, we also got a stripped down version of what was originally planned. We know this because Ryder has lines where he yells at CJ, either for throwing too softly or too hard.
watch what the fuck you doing. Careful with these damn guns. Hey, easy, CJ, easy.
And honestly, if you've played the mission, you probably felt like that throw strength mechanic was way too simple to even need to exist. Like, the whole strategy is just to hold the left mouse button for 1 second and hurl the box at Ryder as hard as possible, and he'll catch it no problem, as if it were a slowly floating feather. Turns out it was probably meant to be more nuanced. You'd have to find the right strength, not too hard, not too soft. And if you didn't, Ryder would complain about it.
Man, you toss like a girl. God, do you understand the concept I'm throwing at you? You as bad as tossing as you is driving.
Lastly, it's also worth mentioning that the original mission only required you to throw 5 crates instead of 10, but that's actually a good change, since the crate throwing segment isn't particularly long, and if it had only required 5, it would have felt almost non-existent. Next up is another Ryder mission, this time robbing Uncle Sam, which was also significantly altered throughout the game's development. On top of that, one very interesting concept was completely scrapped. What was it? Well, a few unused dialogues leave no doubt that CJ and Ryder's original brilliant plan was to pretend to be couriers sent to pick up a shipment from the docks. It's unclear what exactly the shipment was, but if it was supposed to be weapons, then the entire forklift section might have been skipped in that version of the mission. Anyway, that genius plan of pretending to be couriers was supposed to fail, and it would have looked something like this.
You here for the shipment?
Yeah.
Just back her up and I'll open the door. Hey, this shipment ain't going out till tomorrow. You're a phony! Sound the alarm!
Unfortunately, it's hard to say what exactly CJ and Ryder did once the soldiers realized something was off, but it's easy to assume that they probably took out the mercs trying to stop them, which would then lead to the forklift segment, and even that part was originally supposed to be different. Initially, we weren't supposed to load the boxes directly into the van. Instead, our task was to place them on the ground next to the van, and then Ryder would load them inside himself. This also suggests that in that version of the mission, no enemies were attacking us, because Ryder had to be fully focused on loading the boxes. So this is roughly how we imagine it looked.
Drop them at the back of the van and I'll load them up. Just put it down here, CJ.
Moving on, even that final concept of the mission has been changed. For instance, there are these 3 dialogue lines.
Get a move on, CJ. Shit's getting hot. Get a move on. Giddy up, CJ.
These clearly suggest that there was originally a time limit in this mission. There's still a kind of timer now, but instead of being a countdown, it's Ryder's health bar as he defends himself from the soldiers. Speaking of Ryder's combat role, there are cut dialogues where Ryder calls for CJ's help while fighting off the military, which gives us a better idea of how that part was supposed to go in earlier drafts.
CJ, help me, motherfucker. Give me a hand, CJ. I'm swamped.
As you can see, there were quite a few changes. One of the more technical ones even involved how the forklift worked. Originally, we were supposed to manually latch and unlatch the cargo, which we can deduce from some leftover help text in the GXT file. In the final game, that part happens automatically. And finally, there's the matter of how many crates we could let Ryder throw at the soldiers chasing us after we leave the base. That's the mechanic where you honk the horn and Ryder tosses a crate at the pursuing patriots, and the crates explode. In the final game, you can only throw a maximum of 4, which is kind of a weird number, since it's 2/3 of the total loot. In the beta version, this was handled a bit better. You could only throw 3 crates at most, which, while still excessive, since it's half the loot, made a bit more sense overall. Now, we're heading straight to the town of Dillamore, where in San Andreas, together with Catalina, we rob a gas station. In the final version, instead of stealing the cash register's contents, we steal a tanker trailer, which we then deliver to Mr. Whitaker's freight company, where he discreetly gives us a bit of cash for it under the table. Now, based on unused voice lines from Catalina, in which she tells CJ to follow her and gives him directions, it's very likely that the original plan involves stealing 2 tankers from the gas station. Catalina would drive one and CJ would drive the other. Our task, as CJ, would be to follow Catalina, while she shouted instructions about where to go. This version arguably makes more sense, because in the final version, CJ randomly pulls the address of that guy Catalina mentioned out of nowhere, like some kind of magic. So originally, it would have gone something like this.
Follow me!
You'll never be rich as me.
This way! Not far now! Pull up in that depot up ahead!
Another interesting change can be found in Mr. Whitaker's final dialogue. In the released version, it sounds like this.
If you ever want to run some freight for me, just drop in. I've always got shit to move.
But in the beta, it sounded like this.
You ever get hold of another rig, just drop it in. I'll always give a good price.
Right, so it looks like instead of, or in addition to, the delivery missions, Mr. Whitaker was supposed to be involved in a similar mechanic to the secure car side activity from GTA 3. You might remember, in GTA 3, if you found a security car driving around the city and delivered it to a specific garage in the docks, you'd get some cash for it, up to 10 times total. Similarly, in San Andreas, if you found a tanker somewhere in the world, you'd be able to bring it to Whitaker's company and get some money for it. That was likely the idea. In fact, there's even a cut section from the mission Tanker Commander that supports this idea of the removed mechanic. In that mission, we steal a tanker for Torino. In the final game, we bring it to our garage in San Fierro, but based on cut dialogue, it seems that in the beta version, CJ and Caesar were supposed to sell it to Mr. Whitaker instead. Take a listen for yourself.
Where we gonna take this thing?
There's a hauling firm over in Whetstone County. We could take it there and get some cash for it.
Another heist with Catalina and another round of changes. This time, we're talking about the mission Against All Odds, where we rob a betting shop. In the final game, this mission goes off without any major issues. However, in the beta, this mission was supposed to be a bit more complicated. So when arriving in Montgomery, it was supposed to turn out that the military was currently stationed in the town. It's unclear why. We only know that for some reason, the army had been called in to oversee the area. In any case, this became a pretty big obstacle for our 2 robbers. After all, robbing a shop right next to armed soldiers isn't exactly the smartest move. However, Catalina and CJ had a plan. Catalina was supposed to go talk to the soldiers and casually offer to polish their sabers, while CJ, using the distraction she created, was supposed to pull some kind of stunt nearby to draw the soldiers away from the location. Then, once the military had left, CJ would return to Catalina and the mission would proceed as it does in the final version.
Just our fucking luck, the army's in town. I'm going to cut off their balls.
Look, keep them sweet and I'll go cause a diversion.
Hello, I'm from out of town, and maybe you big boys will show me a good time?
I was a gangster back home. Now I'm an actor.
You're dangerous!
Big mistake, asshole! He's so down for the hood, he ignored me. You impress me, Carl Johnson.
Come on, let's do the damn thing.
I think I like you.
Next up is a classic, but I still think it's worth mentioning and showing you. The mission, Photo Opportunity. In the final version, it plays out kind of weird. Caesar and CJ are snapping photos of those syndicate clowns and yelling to each other at full volume while standing like 10 meters away, and somehow those goons don't notice a thing. That happens because the mission was originally supposed to be carried out from a helicopter. After getting a tip-off from Caesar, CJ was supposed to get a hold of a helicopter. The idea was that while Caesar was tailing those Ballas guys, they spotted him and completely wrecked his ride. So CJ had to find an alternative means of transport. CJ would most likely head over to the downtown helipad. and pretend to be there for some helmet inspection for the police department.
A helmet inspection officer. Hey, you see that shit? Look over there. There!
After pulling off a brilliant distraction, he'd managed to steal the helicopter. Mid-flight, it was supposed to be revealed that a cop had been sitting in the back the whole time, pulled a gun on CJ, and ordered him to land. CJ would apparently manage to knock the guy out though. Just a little side plot, but pretty wild.
I hope that's a gun at the back of my head and not something else. I'm learning. Get in.
Anyway, after picking up Caesar, the two would fly together toward the baller's location and the spot where the meeting was going down.
There it is, Holmes.
From that point, the mission would play out more like in the final version, taking pictures of the syndicate members. However, the meeting was originally much more elaborate than what we ended up with. You'd see more ballers, more San Fierro Rifa gangsters, more Grove Street families, and even a syndicate courier arriving with drugs for Ryder.
Shit, Rod! Damn sherm head, fool! What's he rolling with the ballers for? Rod, little bitch! Oh man, it's true! Ballers rule the family!
Mendez.
Ha-ha, that's real pimp shit right there. What's his role in this? He ain't copping.
How many of these clowns are there?
Quite a mixed meeting down there. These guys look organized. They pack serious heat. Max, Uzi, rifles. These fools connect. There's the courier with the fresh load of yay for Ryder and his new friend. A case full of yay each? That must be the cash. What now? Is that it? More San Fierro Reaper by the looks of things. They sure keep their security tight. There's more than a few thugs push the product. It's a serious organization. Oh yeah, he keep it real quiet. Could be just a driver. I don't like the look of him though. I think he owed to it.
At some point though, CJ and Caesar would be spotted and shot at, forcing them to quickly flee the scene, land the helicopter, and split up, just like in the final version.
That was some heavy shit.
We better split up and get out of here. I'll meet you back at the garage, eh?
Coolio, man. We got what we came for.
That's all for today. Thanks in advance for all your likes, subscriptions, and comments. For now, take care and see you next time.